Good morning, all you beautiful love streamers out there on Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom. We want to welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. I am your host, Horace. If this is your first time, we want you to know that we are so delighted that you have chosen to join us today. Because with modern technology, we are extremely grateful for this opportunity to touch so many lives, especially as we share these wonderful happenings at CSO Charlotte. So please feel free to visit our website, csoCharlotte.org, put in a prayer request, and subscribe because we add our recordings to our website each and every week. So before I tell you more about us, I just want to acknowledge that we are still honoring our Indigenous brothers and sisters this month, and also acknowledging that, of course, we are in the season of Thanksgiving, but we all know in this community that we do not have to wait once a year like the rest of this society to acknowledge what we're thankful for, because we know in this community especially that we are thankful every single day. Every single moment. We are grateful. So that is always something to celebrate. And you know what? There's some of you out there, I can read your minds already. Yes, I can read your minds. Some of you are saying, well, what do I got to be grateful for? But just the fact that you are being grumpy and that you are acknowledging that, that is something to be grateful for, because there are some people out there who did not wake up to be grumpy and to say what they're wondering what they're grateful for. So I just want to put that out there. I'm not giving the talk this morning. I am just your humble MC, and I just want to acknowledge that is what we are grateful for today. So now, moving on. The Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte is a new thought community living in ancient wisdom philosophy based on the science of mind. This science of mind philosophy was developed in the early 20th century by writer and lecturer Ernest Holmes. Now, we know that Dr. Holmes was a man on a mission. He studied truths from all of the world's religious traditions and spiritual paths. Holmes developed for us a fresh new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into our world. He's been referred to as the great synthesizer. So at CSO Charlotte, we want you to know that every philosophy is honored along with every race, every sexual orientation, and every physical distinction. We are a diverse, open, and affirmative community. So there are many paths to the divine. Some may refer to it as God, peace, love, spirit, infinite mind, or the I am presence. It really doesn't matter what you call it. What does matter is that you know and understand that this is your power that resonates within you. You do not have to leave your philosophy or nature of knowledge. You can join us anytime. We recognize and refer to many of the Holy Scriptures, such as the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita. And that is just to name only a few. So our vision here at CSO Charlotte is to continue a spiritual community, creating and preparing a succession of future leaders who can fully integrate, teach, and expose the science of mind principles, messages, and practices that strengthen the mind, body, and spirit of each and every individual. So one of our aims is to create a high collective consciousness for everyone in this community. We teach everyone the tools to do just that. So come and join us as we meet every Tuesday evening for our consciousness meeting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you're going to find out more about that in detail pretty soon. So welcome everyone and enjoy our service as we celebrate this powerful being which lives within each of us. So before I pass the mic over to our illustrious spiritual leader, I want you to first understand that her theme this morning is feeling the consciousness kingdoms. Feeling the consciousness kingdoms. And again, before I pass the mic over to her, I want to leave you with this thought. Our greatest human adventure is the evolution of consciousness. We are in this life to enlarge the soul, liberate the spirit, and light up the brain. And that is from author Tom Robbins. I want to say that one more time. Our greatest human adventure is the evolution of consciousness. We are in this life to enlarge the soul, liberate the spirit, and light up the brain. And with that, I'm going to turn the mic over to our illustrious fearless leader, Reverend Rosedale.
Whoa, you and your quotes just rock. And it's always the best, Horace the Bush. It's always the best. So thank you so much for getting everybody into the gratitude mode here this morning before we can get everything else going. We are grateful, thankful, and happy to be here. So with that being said, everybody, welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte, because we are the Mind, Body, Spirit Center. And that said, that and food stamps will get you through the week. So that said, wonderful things are happening here at CSL Charlotte, because our minds are all about thinking about other cultures and other places like the Native American people, and now called indigenous tribes, where we're winding up the last week of their contributions and celebrations and all of that wonderful thing. But the most things I like to always remember that group by is they're known for the care of our land, Mother Earth. And that's something I always like to say about them. So today, our attention is on feeling the consciousness kingdom, really feeling it. So why not get started today with feeling the consciousness kingdom? So we start our Sunday celebrations with an affirmative prayer to set the tone. And the first person that we have to set that tone for us is somebody who met me some 15 years ago to 20 years ago, who was connected with me from the hip. And it was so important to me that I got stuck somewhere in California, and she lives hours away from some more time where I was. And I happened to call her on the phone to tell her, and she looked up and she said, "I know where you are. I'm be there in 5 minutes." Beat that. That's the power of the universe. She got to me. She wasn't nowhere near home. So you never know how spirit leads us to each other. So this woman is going to do that opening prayer for us this morning. And this is Reverend Dr. Wanda Wayman. So Dr. Wanda, go for it, please.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here this morning to be able to pray you in, and knowing that there is a great need for prayer in the world today. So as we relax into our space, wherever that is, wherever you are, whoever you are definitely in the right place right now. And so what I know is that there is one power and one presence from which all things come. There's a quantum field of energy, and that quantum field of energy is that from which we all came. We are all part of a huge ocean, an ocean of consciousness. And so today I know that the talk that Reverend Rosedale is giving on consciousness is going to be something that will help to broaden and open our horizons to the possibilities in our life today. Our lives are filled with potential and unlimited possibilities. And no matter how dark it may seem at any given point in time, there is always light, and we are the light. All the people who gather all over the world every day are the lights that are flickering and blazing in order to dispel the darkness. And so I know that there are rainbows, there is light, there is sunshine, there are flowers. And today we are so blessed to be here together, to have come together, to have been drawn together in this quantum consciousness in order to become more. We're always in the process of becoming, and I know that that is so important. And so with that, I simply say I'm so grateful and so thankful that I know this in the core of my being, and I know it for each and every one of you, and so it is.
Oh man, she gets that. She gets every point said, and well done. I love that. Thank you so much, Dr. Wanda. So Next on our platform is our reader, and our reader is Jerry Campbell. And I have to say this because she's somebody that I know way back in San Diego, and we met and we knew, I now know we were spiritual sisters from the time we met. And we didn't have contact long, but we did come back. But somehow she found CSL Charlotte. You see, spirit knows spirits people. There's no doubt about it. And I'm just looking at all the synchronicities with all the people that are connecting with me now, from New York and everywhere. Girlfriends are popping up down here. So it's just awesome. So this is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So that being said, I gotta tell you, Groovy is the person to me that if I want something, if I want the truth, all I gotta do is ask her the question. Some people will tell you this, they'll tell you that, but I'm not going to get that from her. So when you listen to listen to her reading, think about her, the next song, which is called Awakening by Deva Premal. Yeah. Now, when you have this awakening from within you, there's a lot of steps that it takes to connect with people because we're all on different consciousness kingdoms, but we all know who each other are. So Groovy, make it do what it do.
Thank you so much, Reverend Rosedale, and thank you for the honor of reading what you have written for us today, called Capitalizing on the Power of the Universe. Did you know that the power of the universe is always available to you? This amazing force is constantly at work, responding to our thoughts and emotions around the clock. It manifests our reality based on how we think and feel, manifesting real experiences in our lives. But there is more. We are diving deep into the concept of integrating mind, body, and spirit, a power combination that guides us towards wisdom. We move through 4 kingdoms of consciousness, from feeling like victims and progressing to self-actualization. These stages awaken our intuition and connect us to the wisdom within by recognizing which kingdom we are in at any moment. We feel our connection as spiritual beings having been experiences. The journey helps us embrace our oneness with spirit and move gracefully along our spiritual path. Here's what we need to know about the kingdoms in order to move in and out of them with grace. Kingdom 1, victim consciousness. In this stage, we might feel overwhelmed by blame, shame, and guilt, thinking that life just happens to us. Kingdom 2, manifestor consciousness. Here we realize we have the power to shape our own lives, but we need to avoid becoming too controlling or feeling separate from the power of the universe. Kingdom 3, co-creation consciousness. We understand that life manifests through us, guided by our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, because we learn in this kingdom that we are one with spirit, God, or the power of universe. Kingdom 4, oneness consciousness. Finally, we fully embrace that we are one with the universe's power, where life unfolds in perfect harmony through us, as us, and for us. In other words, we are it, the power of the universe. The spiritual journey is not a straight line, but a spiral of growth, healing, and awareness. We are always digressing or advancing through these kingdoms, learning, evolving, and seeking balance. By reflecting on where we are and using spiritual practices, we align more deeply with the power of the universe to reach self-actualization. Practicing this awareness elevates our consciousness, leading us to spiritual living. We can align our thoughts, emotions, and energy with the eternal truth of our oneness with the power of the universe with dedication. And finally, a quote from our Reverend Rosedale Jones. Self-actualization becomes our guiding light as we tap into our self-awareness, intuition, and realization. And so it is.
Wow. Take a deep breath in all of that beautiful nature. We're going to start with a short centering. So let's take a second or two to take a nice deep breath because it's in the breath that all of our relaxation comes. You can keep your eyes open or you can close them, but it's your choice. And make sure when you breathe out, make sure it's longer than your inhale because that's where it all is, the relaxation. The relaxation. So with that, one of the things I do know is I've come to realize that we are all awakening no matter where you are, no matter where I go, no matter where it is. Because there's one thing about us all, and like that song says, is we have forgotten that we are divine and we have a divine nature because that's the way they brought us into this world. Well, we came into this world with people that had us to help us forget. But now, many of us are awakening, and it's a wonderful thing. So, what I learned about myself and inner peace is that my journey itself, it really and truly and honestly required me to have deep study and evidently, because that's the reason why I can't stop studying, and reflection. I needed that self-reflection. I needed to know more about how to reach it. At first, I didn't even know why I was even being drawn to places like yoga way back in the 90s, but now I get it. It was to learn Sanskrit and spirituality and feel that beauty about it. Because here's the thing, at the end of that song, you heard Sat Chidananda, you've heard Shanti, you've heard a lot of different words. But see, when went through all of my process and everything, I discovered my niche, which is my life's purpose. I discovered that all of this stuff that I've done leads me and continue to leads me to one transformation after the other. So this song, Awakening, it resonates deeply with my soul. How about you? See, the words at the end of the song are very, very powerful, and they're there, whether you know their meanings or not. They're there because they're the essence of spirit. So that's exactly why I was drawn to yoga, because I would not have learned Sanskrit. And with that, let's stay connected to that mind, body, spirit of us, of each and every one of us. So let's go. The first thing I want to do is say to you that if you have practiced long enough, I love saying that, then you are already feeling the kingdom of the consciousness kingdoms. Okay, so as you know, you're at choice, and it's all your choice whether you choose to use spiritual practices to do that or not. So wiggle your fingers, your toes, and start to bring yourself in to your center and back out and look around your space. Feel your space. Feel how big you are in that huge space that you're in. And while you take that moment to do that, I'm going to take a gratitude moment and thank you, Horace, for always rocking those quotes and the beautiful things you always remember. And when you're bringing us in, Horace is our master of ceremony. Horace is our MC, but he's also our operations coordinator. And Dr. Wanda, thank you for, very powerfully giving us your prayer. It was so beautiful. And thank you, Groovy, for that reading. Capitalizing. It's important. The word capitalizing is important. You'll hear. It's capitalizing on the power of the universe because it's supposed to speak volumes to feeling the consciousness kingdoms because it's all about the power of the universe. So I'm going to bring back that first sentence that Groovy mentioned was when she read it. Did you know that the power of the universe is always at your fingertips? See, one thing about this power, it never gets tired. It's constantly, it's this big, enormous energy, and it's working 24/7, whether we know it or not. So that's why it's best to become conscious of it. You know why? Because they contain our thoughts and emotions. So whether you're aware of any of this stuff at night or not, it's always in motion. And remember what I said last week, gently, I'll tell you again, that emotions are always part of the process. Ooh. So now, in this, the four kingdoms of consciousness is something we need to understand about because most people are stoked in victim consciousness. But we weren't supposed to live forever in victim consciousness, not by the stretch of imagination. So remember this, we are connected to a built in spirit. And guess what? We are spiritual beings having human experiences. Okay, now I can't say that enough, and I will never stop saying it. So there's go, there you go. So at any given moment, we operate from four kingdoms, and that is our consciousness kingdoms. This is where you are. So we can navigate from we can navigate from kingdom one all the way to four and then back to one at any given time, no problem. But you know what? I just want to say that because we move through these kingdoms like blobs. And so we have these arrows that can point in that direction or maybe not. So we have one, victim consciousness. Remember, the first kingdom is about the victim conscious. At any given time, we can really move from that consciousness because of spiritual practice. We can go right into two. If we're going step by step, it depends on where we are. So we move into kingdom two. We are now realizing from victim consciousness, okay, now I have the power to shape my own destiny. So I am no longer everything like in kingdom one is not making me what's done to me. See, people think in consciousness, in kingdom consciousness one, is that, oh, so everything is being done to me, victim, victim, victim. When you get to two, you start to recognize that, wait a minute, I'm the one, and I'm starting to realize, here, I got help. Now, a little bit more, a lot more spiritual practice sometimes will take you right into three. When you get into that third kingdom, you start to understand, wait a minute, I am the vessel through which all this stuff that happens is me who's carrying this stuff through my life. And when you start to recognize that, you can be thinking you're riding high one day, and all of a sudden, a thought comes back from the past, and whammo, you back in the first kingdom. You see, you can digress. You heard that in the reading, and you could move forward. But if you're good and you have really, really tracked this, practice a lot more, you can go from one all the way to four. And oh boy, the fourth kingdom, you know that it has always been you. You know that you are one with it. You know that you are the power of the universe. Everything is perfectly aligned just like that in the spiritual realm because oneness is where we're after. Self-actualization is in kingdom four. So that's what the power, that's what capitalizing. You got to know the four kingdoms. Remember, I said that about the title. Capitalizing the power of the universe. You need to capitalize on that so that you can understand yourself when you're moving in blobs through each and every one of these awesome, beautiful places. Now, most of the time, I find myself in Kingdom 4 over here, up there in the top left, the top right. And see, what happens is I am grateful that, like Hara said, I'm grateful that I know the power of the community, the power of the universe is me. I am it. And see, a spiritual practice for me, and we always got to have a spiritual practice because that's how we detach from that past that brings us down to victimhood. That's how we detach from that problem right now sitting you in the face that brings you down to victimhood because we're thinking, oh, I can't measure up. Boom, there you go, back down to one. And so that's a good thing. So thank you, Alan, for showing us that. See, that's when I truly begin to be at peace, is when I do my spiritual practices, knowing what stage I'm in. Because if I am not going to be honest with myself and take myself to somewhere to get away from that stage, if I'm not happy in that space, my mind has to move out of that. What about you? When I'm sharing and I'm experiencing peace, I'm soaring in Kingdom 4. But occasionally, the old past does sneak on back. And if I'm not alert, I end up being dragged back down. So it's all of us. Stay out of the victim consciousness. We were never really meant to be there forever. Now, you can take anything you would like to do and do anything you would like to, and say anything you would like to say. But make no mistake about this. And this is important right here because everybody's in the victim stage about certain things, right? But in the spiritual realm, the energy dynamics between predator and prey is real. The prey often attracts the predator. Now, whether we are consciously aware of this energetic force or not, it's a force. And it's making it easy for people to fall victim if they're going to ignore that mind or not change that mind. You may not even ignore it. You just won't want to change. You just won't want to change your mind. See, until we recognize that we are who we are, that we need to know who we are, we remain vulnerable in our mind, body, spirit connection to all predators. People are worried about this president. Oh, this is going to happen. Listen, that cannot be my predator. I am not anybody's victim for that matter. You want to take that? Stay out of that consciousness kingdom 1, especially now in the next couple of years. Keep your butt somewhere up to the top. If you're going to go flip, don't bring yourself back. If you find yourself in that kingdom space, get back out of there. And you know how to do it. I've already said we do it through spiritual practice. You want to know about that? Call us, send us an email, text us, join us at our consciousness meeting. See, I know this. If I don't forgive the people who I hold animosity toward for the things they did, they stay connected to me in my mind, body, spirit. And do you think I want that? See, when I focus on them too much, I allow fear to take root. And then I find my mind in places where I don't want it to be. So true forgiveness, I'm just saying for me, and you can say that if you want, it liberates my mind completely. Somebody said to me the other day, how can you forgive all of them for what they did? I said, you know what? The mind never stops. At any given time, I can sit here and hold this anger with them in my head. And guess who am I having a conversation with? That person's spirit. That's ridiculous. At any given time, my mind can come up with something or someone to forgive instead of when they do come up to me, that when they do come up in my mind, I am not saying to myself, I'm so angry. I'm saying to myself, I refuse to do this, so I forgive them. Then I'm totally free. Remember this. We are constantly moving between the kingdoms every day and all day, up and down across these 4 kingdoms. So use these things, reflection, contemplation, and maybe silence. Turn everything off, TV, everything sometimes. Sometimes you need that music because that's your inspiration. Sometimes you need that. I don't know about the TV being an inspiration, but I do know it can take you out of the reality that you're in. Where do you want to be? That's my question. Be honest with yourself, use spiritual practices, and evolve, and you will know what consciousness kingdom you are in at any given time. You need to know that. So let me give a little review here about how I suggest a good spiritual practice will help you do these things. And so when you find yourself in certain kingdoms, think about these. Kingdom 1, victim consciousness. You need to release that mindset of guilt, of shame, of blame, as if everything is being done to you. Because that's a story you're making up. You make up a lot of stories in kingdom, in victim kingdom. Oh, you do. But now, how about the kingdom two, where you start to recognize, that's that manifestor consciousness now. Now you're starting to see that it's going to require, now when you get in your spiritual practices, it's going to kind of give you these insights telling you that it's going to require that you release some of these what's that word I'm looking for? Cynical beliefs that you have about the world. Oh, they're so bad. Oh, this and that. You got to release those in order to get out of two now. Because now you got the power of the universe to move you to a kingdom three. And that is, once you're in there, you're in that co-creation consciousness. And in that co-creation consciousness, God is guided, not guiding you in any, there's nothing up there and anywhere moving you around a board, a chessboard. No, 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 no. You are guiding the power of the universe, which is God's spirit or whatever it is, by your beliefs and your thoughts and your convictions. When somebody upsets you because they said something wrong, remember, over the years, you have built buttons in your body. And let me tell you something. I tell people, I might have upset you or I might have pushed your button, but I didn't put it there. You know how you put it there? Based on the victimhood stage. Well, because this person did this to you, all the world is going to treat you that way. So as soon as you look at somebody about to do something, boom, they pushed your button. You did not, but you're going to blame them. Not happening. Because if you stay back, if you're in three at that co-creation stage and you start to realize that you put these buttons in you, it's time to get back into that spiritual practice to move on, so that you can now take yourself to the one consciousness for that self-actualization. Self-actualization means we are totally one. So when we fully embody the fact that we are one with the power of the universe, which is also God, which is also spirit, which is also source energy, which is also so many different things, life begins to unfold in, through, and as us. And boy, that's the place where I like to be. It's a good place. I'm happy, I'm smiling, I'm having a good time. But you know, that fourth kingdom, to be honest with you, is really who we are. We are it. Period. Dot. Now, here's what the deal is, and what I have learned and what I've come to know is you got to know what love is. And we keep saying that God is love. You got to know that. You got to trust that. What God is if God wasn't love, all the things that you went through, you would have perished and died. It would have struck you down. All that stuff that you're saying about it is something interesting. Somebody told me yesterday that the enemy, E-N-E-M-E, right? The enemy said this to them. I said, no, it wasn't the enemy. It was your inner me. You have to bring that under control, because if your inner me is telling you that, you're in that first kingdom. But I can't go all there. But I'm looking, I'm listening, I'm hearing you. I hear this person in this first kingdom. They can't hear me if I'm in four, and I refuse to come down to one. You got to know where you are. You got to know what love is. You got to know what the most important love, and that is self-love. So as far as the power of the universe, aka God, is concerned, love is God's essence. So when I let go of worrying if people perceive me as weak for expressing love, then I step into my own authenticity. Authenticity, that's more like it, right? So the more authentic I am more, I find myself attracting with more authentic people. If I stay in that victim, guess who I'm attracting? I don't want no more of them. You know, keep that. Okay, you good. We all right. Because years ago, I came to realize that the power of the universe was within me. And I feel it all the time now. I know how to feel it. I know how to look for it. I know all that. So you're not taking me back. No, you're not going to do that. Because I know what love is. And I know God is love. And I decided many years ago that that's what I want to be. When I started reading this and getting deep into this, I said, no, love is what I want to be. And when I decided that I'm going to be it, I started telling myself, I am love. Since then, I started to recognize, since I have the nature of God, I am love. And today, what I do now is I embody love, which means what? I am love. So many people have their meanings for love, and all of these kingdoms. If you're in the kingdom, you think everybody's bad and nobody loves you, and you don't love anybody because you can't love because you get your heart broken. Okay, but listen to me. You're resisting it. When you resist love, that's where it all blows. Now, some people, if you're in the four, no, maybe you're still in the kingdom one, and some people believe that their egos whispering to them, saying that loving is a sign of weakness. Oh yeah, that's still victim consciousness. But remember this: it is that heart that's afraid of breaking that will never ever learn how to live. Ooh, stay woke. Recognize the kingdoms you're in more often than not. Just don't do it on a not basis. Start to do it a little bit more often. Follow the words, because this next song is going to actually bring us to understand a lot more about the different types of love. And after this song, which is my namesake called The Rose, you're going to understand what all these people feel about love. Wow, wow, wow. You know, if you can think that love is a flower and you are its only seed, that's what I told myself because of that song. That's my namesake. So I took it. And that's another way I learned to love. I just figured out how I can get love easily into me so I can be it. But you and I are the only seed if you use if you use love as a flower, because you are its only seed. So what do you think about that? You know, what a beautiful song that was. But remember this, can you see having a belief that says the person stuck in kingdom one would say something like, love is like a razor that causes your soul to bleed? Can you see why they stay stuck in kingdom consciousness one? Just say it. So it's the soul afraid of dying. But what I love about it is she continues on and she says, but I say love, it's a flower. And I'll never forget it. You, its only seed. So reflect on the kingdom you are and reflect on it with love so you can keep love for yourself, because you got to keep yourself out of the worry kingdom and bring yourself to the joy. Hey, Alan, good job, good job. So now you know what time it is. It's birthday time, and I just finished a great one this year, and I'm starting a whole new year. I'm just digging this.
Yeah, that's unrestricted.
Okay. Okay. So obviously, Alan has something to share for the birthday. So I'm very, very excited about my birthday this year. A lot has happened. A lot has taught me. I've learned a lot. So I like what I learned. So with that being said, I love it. That reminds me of me in meditation, me relaxing through life and floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee. So thank you so much, Heart. Alan. Well, so that being said, guys, this is the time for birthdays. You know we like to look at each other's birthday because it's the day we came to be. Man, I think I was celebrating my birthday for a whole week prior to the day of, to the point where I forgot it was my real day. Then I kept celebrating again Friday and then last night. So it's interesting how we can just love ourselves that much. So do you love yourself enough to let other people, tell you how great you are? Because I like to hear it and I like to tell people how great they are. So that's all I'm going to say. Jot down your month and your day and you'll be fantastic. We will make sure we honor your birthday. So we got these big gratitude shout outs to our platform team. And that means that I want to first thank our ops coordinator, Horace DeBush. He's always on point with his MC, with his quotes and all that great stuff. And he just keeps us all moving like a well-oiled machine. That's the wonderful part about it. And our opening and closing prayer was Dr. Wanda. And that's just been a beautiful one. And I just know that closing prayer is just as good. So with that being said, Groovy G, she's done the thing on that reading. She's not only doing the reading, which I love so much, she got a lot of things that she does, and then she helps keep the background clean, and that's why I call her our spiritual harmony steward. She keeps everything back there nice and flowing. And with that being said, it's quiet, it's clean back there, but she is called the cleanup woman because of that. So thank you, Alan, my right-hand man, who's always here for the music and the AV and whatever he needs to do. And today, I believe Timmy P carried the rest of us with the spotlighting, whatever we do as far as the PowerPoints and all that wonderful stuff. And I just thank him. And Mo, I thank you because you're always back there. Our spiritual practitioner, Maureen Thurston, her name is Mo to me. And I love actually thinking of how she keeps those prayers in line. When they come through, she will grab it. And so I'm telling you, if you have not received a prayer from CSL Charlotte, you have not put in a prayer request. So why not go to our website right now and do that? And thanks all of us. I thank all of us for our presence here today and all that we've done. And, we're having a safe landing with Timmy P back there. So we're good. So before this last song, let's consider what we were talking about today. We were actually talking about feeling the consciousness kingdoms. Now, remember that this week, you got to keep asking yourself, feel your emotions. What consciousness kingdom am I in right now? Because feeling the consciousness kingdoms grooms us to move in through and as all four kingdoms gracefully all day long. Because we can get out of them that we don't like. We can get into the ones we love, and we can actually remain there just being conscious of it. So if you want something to do or something new to do, start your way and make yourself begin to feel the consciousness kingdoms. Not just say, oh, I understand that. No, feel it. Because when we devote that time and that practice into trying to feel something, we become aware of the kingdom that we're in, and we begin to gravitate more toward that fourth kingdom, which is actually self-actualization. So no matter how many things this week you might run into that you might feel that was a failure, find a way to love yourself back and start feeling into the consciousness kingdoms. So before Dr. Wanda prays us out, remember this and remember all of this as you're getting through this week. And see, when you're thinking about Kingdom 1, Kingdom 2, and Kingdom 3 and getting to 4, you're no longer a victim. So when you're not a victim, guess what you become? But you have the potential to become is a conqueror. And so one way to bring yourself to it is by calling yourself a conqueror, and that's what this next song is going to have you do. So listen to the song by Empire Cast, The Conqueror. Self-actualization to me when you left that Kingdom 1 and you decided that you would be a conqueror. Whoa, now, y'all. I'm going to stop right here before I lose it, but pray us out. Dr. Wanda, thank you.
I'd love to. By the way, that happens to be one of my favorite songs. I play it a lot. I just love that song. So let's just settle in. And I am filled with an overwhelming sense of gratefulness and gratitude because today, as I experienced Reverend Rosedale's talk, it was an invitation to an increased awareness, the ability to perceive and understand my own thoughts, my own emotions, and my connections to the world. It was an invitation to transcend and move beyond the ego or personal identity, to experience unity with something greater as nature, cosmos, the divine, whatever that might be. It was an invitation to go deeper, gaining insight and profound understanding and wisdom about life, existence, personal purpose. And so today I am so grateful because the seeds that were planted today were the seeds of unity and interconnectedness, timelessness, love and compassion, and non-dualistic awareness. And the garden, the flowers that are blooming are going to be the experience of transcending any duality of the self, good, bad, mind, body, them, us. There is only one. And what I know is that was made very clear to me today. And so I'm grateful, and I give great thanks for Reverend Rosedale's ability to allow herself to be a conduit for spirit to speak through as and in her, and to speak to the spirit in each and every one of us. And with that, I just give great thanks. And I ask you to join me in saying, and that's the truth, and so it is.
And so it is. I'll take the truth. So, with that being said, we're about to close out. And so, what I want to just say is that as we wrap up all these things that were said and our time together today, notice this week if you find yourself feeling the consciousness kingdoms. Because no matter how things feel, and like I said earlier, how many things you fail at, find your way to love and start feeling the consciousness kingdoms. So, with that being said, remember to take some good spiritual practices because that's the best way to get to the feeling of the consciousness kingdoms. So, instead of being a victim, go and get yourself an opportunity to become a warrior by going to the practices and then starting to feel like that conqueror. And remember, the universe is constantly operating and supporting you on your journey. With that being said, until we meet again, continue to keep feeling the consciousness kingdoms. Bye bye.